Well, hello everyone. My name is Michael Reeves and I am the technical director for Bitdefender, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about Bitdefender's GravityZone solution. It is a multi-tenant API-driven SaaS delivered security application that in one console encapsulates all three pieces of a really good security architecture. And I'll talk a little bit about how we do that. I've got some people on the line that can answer your questions for you. But this is GravityZone. Again, this is a multi-tenant platform. And there's basically three pieces of a really good security architecture where you can implement a defense in depth type architecture for you and your customers' businesses. And the first area of security, and I liken this to a car. How do you secure your car when you go into a store? So you drive into a parking lot and you get out of your car. The first thing that you do is you close your doors, you roll up your windows, and you lock your doors. Why do we do that? Naturally, we do that because we want to we want to analyze the risk of our environment, and we harden our car against attacks. Well, that capability is built into Bitdefender. So we have a way to analyze your companies that you support, their risk posture. In other words, looking at their attack surface, and we will actually give them a score over 1,800 different areas of security. We call this risk management. And when you drill into each one of these, we will actually show you by severity high level risks. In other words, these are car doors that are wide open in your customer's environments. So we classify risks as far as high, medium type risks, and then low type risks. And what this allows you to do as a managed service provider is really operationalize the ability to reduce the attack surface in your customer's account over a period of time. So I'm not a big proponent of wholesale changes from a security perspective, but this allows you to operationalize it. And what's interesting about the Bitdefender technology in this area is that we not only tell you what the risk is, but if I drill in here, we actually tell you how to remediate that risk very systematically. So in this particular case, to remediate the insecure guest logon vulnerability in your customer environment, we recommend that you change a group policy. Same thing is true with application vulnerabilities. We tell you these are the applications that we would recommend that you patch. Why do we do that? Because there's 87 documented CVEs. And if you're in the security industry, you know what a CVE is. It's basically a documented way for criminals to get into your environment. So we show you application vulnerabilities. We show you networking, operating system misconfigurations. We help you to reduce the attack surface. And the third area that we cover is user-based risk. So for example, if you have users that are using the same password on multiple websites, we will point that out. If they have suspect browsing behavior, we will point that out. All sorts of user type behavioral risks that are putting your customers at risk, we're going to point those out so that you can go in and provide some training for those particular individuals. So that's the first area of security that we cover in Bitdefender GravityZone, is actually help you to systematically harden your environment against attacks, thereby reducing the attack surface. So in my car analogy, you get out of your car, you close the doors, you roll up the windows, you lock the doors. The next thing that you probably do if you have a car of value is you turn on your alarm system. The alarm system is basically automated detection and response capabilities And that's also built into Bitdefender. So if I look at and where all of those are found is in our policy. So our policy within Bitdefender GravityZone is a way to set up detections as well as automated response actions. And we cover the gamut from pre-execution scanning. So before scripts and before processes are allowed to execute, we scan them for risk. We have on execution type scanning, including fileless attack protection that's built in. You've got your traditional scanning type capability. So this is your weekly full scan, your daily quick scan. We've got anti-tampering, and on and on and on we go. What's interesting about the Bitdefender technology that is a little bit in addition to most of the solutions in the market is that we have a capability called HIDS and HIPS that is basically resident within our product. This allows us to not only detect malicious content coming over the network, whether that network traffic is HTTP, notice that we can also do HTTPS. We can do even RDP traffic. So we're scanning, let's say, Intune traffic, or we're scanning possibly a Terra traffic, management traffic that is coming to and from your endpoints. That allows us to reduce the attack surface coming from management platforms into your customers' environments. And we do this in an automated way. So we block things like initial access, credentialed access. We look at discovery type capabilities, and we actually have protection security controls that are resonant right within our agent. So that is the second area of Bitdefender, which is basically your alarm system. Well, what happens if both of those fail? Now you enter what we call the third area of security, and I call this the human response part of your security architecture, what the industry calls EDR, XDR, and managed detection and response. And that is found in GravityZone in what we call the incidents tab within GravityZone. So in the incidents tab, notice that Bitdefender already has AI built into our platform. So you're going to hear a lot about AI this year, but notice that Bitdefender will take telemetry. We will automatically correlate that telemetry for you. And then we tell your humans in plain English, we believe this is actually what's happening in your environment. And not only do we tell you in plain English what is happening in your environment, but we actually guide your users over here on the right-hand side. We recommend that you disable 2 users. So all your technicians have to do, if you want to self-manage your response, all you have to do, click the button, click execute, and you're done. You've now, we've enabled humans to very quickly determine whether something is malicious or benign and take action on it in a near immediate type architecture. So we reduce the time because we automatically correlate. Bitdefender does not require a SIM to correlate telemetry in your environment. And notice here, we're talking users in this particular case. We're talking Azure storage instances. We've got some V servers on Azure, et cetera, et cetera. So that is all built into the Bitdefender platform. And I'll show you something also pretty interesting. Notice our latest sensor that has come onto the scene. Notice this is a mobile device. So not only can we do endpoints, we can do users, whether they're in Active Directory or Azure AD. We can do email on Office 365 or G Suite. We can do cloud-based instances, so AWS, Azure, Google, and we do network telemetry so that you can see if there's any exfiltration of files or things like that. That is all built into the Bitdefender platform. So, and then again, we correlate it like a SIM. We overlay that with AI so that your users can know exactly what's happening in your environment. And look at all these objects that are involved in this particular incident. And then notice that over here, we say, hey, you need to disable a user. You need to reset their credentials. So if it's an email, it'll say, we recommend that you delete this email from Office 365. You click a button and we take action in your environment. So that's what I call self-managed detection and response. Bitdefender enables those humans to very quickly determine whether something is malicious or benign, and then take action immediately on that particular object or that particular threat. Now, what happens if you don't want to do any of this? What happens if you don't have a security operations center? Well, Bitdefender built into our agent and this telemetry platform, we connect a 24/7 by 365 security operations center that is Bitdefender defending your environment now. So when you onboard this service, and it's an automated onboarding, it takes literally milliseconds to connect your Bitdefender, your customer's environment to our security operations center. It's an automated process where before you click a button for licensing to turn it on, our SOC cannot see your customer. When you click save in our console and say, I want the MDR service, instantaneously, that customer now becomes visible into our security operations center. And all the actions that I've talked about are now available for our SOC. In about 5 minutes, you'll receive an email. If this is the first customer that you onboard to our service, it'll say, welcome to the MDR service. You're going to log into a second portal. This is the front end to our security operations center. And what do we need from you? We need two things. Number one, who do we contact? We call those emergency contacts. Who do we contact after we have taken action in your customer environment? Notice I say after we take action. So Bitdefender takes action and then they call you. Much different than a lot of the services out there in the industry now that really depend on you as a managed service provider to do actions in your environment, and they're just an alerting service. Bitdefender is not an alerting service. We are an action-oriented service, so much so that we spell out the second area that we want you to fill out is what can we do in your customer's environment on your behalf? And notice this list. We can stop processes. We can block files. We can open up remote shells. We can block ports. We can isolate hosts. We can delete files. We can do all of that. And if you want to give us notes, you can do that. So you inform our security operations center because now we become a part of your team. Not only can we take actions on the endpoint itself, but we can also take actions on external entities outside of the endpoint. The industry calls that XDR. Bitdefender XDR is not just telemetry, but it is the ability to act upon that telemetry. So notice, can Bitdefender force a user credential reset? Can we mark a user as compromised in Azure Security Center? Can we disable a user? Are we allowed to delete an email that is malicious in your environment? These are all actions that you are pre-authorizing Bitdefender to take before we make that call to you. So after we respond to that incident, we've got 30 minutes based upon our SLA to make contact with you to say, hey, we have taken the following action. Here is the current status of that particular incident in your customer's environment, and we can go through that triage at that point. So that is Bitdefender in a nutshell, and I'll just review this for you before I close my session, and that is we do three things. We help you harden your environment through managing the attack surface in your customer's environment. We have automated security controls that allow Bitdefender to defend your environment on an automated basis. and then we enable your humans to take action in your environment by giving them great visibility and very simple English to determine whether something is malicious or benign. And then if you don't want to do any of that, you can turn that over to Bitdefender and our Security Operations Center, what we call MDR. Oh, question on the chat that I'll answer. Give me 1 second. It'll only take me 1 second here. Give me, where's my share? So the question was, where do I add a maintenance window for patch management? Let me go back to GravityZone. So one thing that I didn't talk about is that there's also some specialty solutions that Bitdefender has with GravityZone, and one of them is in the area of patching. So Bitdefender has a fully capable patch management solution that's built into the platform. Notice that we cover Windows, we cover Linux, and we cover Mac, and applications running on all three of those platforms. And the question was, how do I configure a maintenance window for that? That is under policies and what we call configuration profiles. Here is your maintenance window for your patching. So this is where you would set a maintenance window in GravityZone to be able to patch. So this is where this is started here, where you can basically set up maintenance windows for Bitdefender patching. Great question. So thank you very much. I hope this has been valuable for you, but that's Bitdefender GravityZone in a nutshell. It's available through Atera. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much.